What are the best attributes to level in Oblivion Remaster Master Mode? Now, I'm not going to go into the exact details of all of these, but I'll just kind of speak about them generally, how they fit into builds and what they do. All right, so Strength gets you a little bit of health. It gets you some carry weight. Raising it above 100, as far as I know, just improves carry weight. It might still continue to improve health. I haven't really tested it because I don't really fortify Strength, but generally you don't fortify Strength over 100 unless you're doing something like carry weight, or if you're trying to go for the Shield Bash gimmick, which I don't recommend, because in order for Shield Bash gimmick to work, you have to do a lot of enchanting, a lot of ramping and alchemy just to make it do basic things. So it's generally a good stat. I would say it's decent. You want it for carry weight. You want it for slight damage increase on physical. So the physical weapons it boosts are everything except for bows, daggers, and short swords. Now, the damage increase on strength is not substantial. If it was, it would get bumped way up. It's only like a few points of damage, as you hit 100. So we're talking like 5 to 7 damage maybe. It's not really like a ton, but it's still enough that it matters over time. And the carry weight and the small bit of health are nice. Next, we have Intelligence. Intelligence is definitely A tier. Magicka is like everything in this game. And if you're not using your Magicka, you're probably wasting a huge resource. It can always be doing something for you. There's so many spells. There's spells that do literally everything. So if you're not using your Magicka... Now, if you're using Alchemy, that's fine. If you don't want to use Magicka and you just want to spam like potions and poisons, you can get away with that and still beat the game pretty easily in Master Mode. But it's just, 1 point equals 2 Magicka, so you want as much of it as you can get. It's good for pretty much every build, because every build wants magic, at least in my opinion. Outside of like maybe 100% Chameleon Stealth Archer, or Stealth, 100% Chameleon builds, or things like that, or maybe even Poison builds. But it's really strong. Willpower, I think Willpower is S tier. I think Willpower is like one of the, I think it is the best attribute. I don't even think it's close. So the way it works is, or the way it used to work is you used to regenerate your Magicka by percentage. So the more Magicka, the better, because then you'd regenerate more per second. But now the way it works is the higher your willpower, well, I think it still would ramp the amount you would regenerate, like how quickly you'd regenerate a percentage. But now the way it works is it regenerates a flat amount, but the higher the willpower, the more it regenerates, and the higher the willpower, the faster it regenerates. So like the difference between 400 versus 100 willpower, 400 regenerates extremely quickly, whereas 100, regenerates significantly slower. But 100 willpower is still good. I think willpower is really strong, especially boosted over 100. This is one of the things that you'd be justified in ramping over 100, or running enchanted gear that puts it over 100. I like to have 150 base willpower. In combat, that's pretty good passive regen. It allows you to run away for a second to get your resources back and then come back, or just like play around terrain and stuff like this to regenerate quickly, or even just as you're killing things, it's just regenerating at a quick rate. So pretty strong. And now if you run things like the Atronach, willpower is useless to you, but arguably if you're running Atronach, you're probably missing out on a lot. Willpower is very powerful. It's really nice. It also contributes to max fatigue now. It gives you lots of, well, it actually always did, but they increased the amount of maximum fatigue you get from it. So you get fatigue and regen. So it's actually good on like physical builds that don't even really cast that much magic, because it now also gives you fatigue. And fatigue is very important for melee builds because it runs out so quickly, especially if you shield bash and power attack a lot. Just basic attacks drain fatigue quite a bit, so it's nice to have for that. So it kind of does two things. Next we have agility. So agility gives you more damage with daggers, short swords, and bows, but only like a little bit as you approach 100. It also is the attribute that affects fatigue regeneration, as well as giving you a little bit of fatigue, but not as high as willpower. So you're looking at basically a little bit of ramping on bow builds, dagger builds, short sword builds, as well as fatigue regeneration. And ramping it over 100 no longer continues to scale the damage on those weapons, but does give you, I think, more fatigue and more regen. Kind of similar. It's like the fatigue version of willpower. I think agility is here. I think it's like B tier. it's good to invest in. It's not like the best thing. For the builds that use it, you want to use it. It doesn't like make or break the game though, like these can, like magic can. But it's nice. Speed, so how fast you move. I would say speed is like here. I value speed over these. Now if I'm on a physical build, I'll obviously value strength more. But strength's big thing on builds that don't use melee weapons is the carry capacity, which can be achieved through feather and other means. Like there's other ways to achieve like carry capacity. So it's not like the only thing that can do that. So it's like it acts as more of like a utility skill. But it's pretty nice. Speed is pretty nice for just moving faster. Is it overpowered? Definitely not. Is it strong? Kind of. It depends. There's sprinting in the game now. So before when there wasn't sprinting, if something could catch up to you barely, you had no way of just like getting past it unless you came back with higher speed or whatever. But now that you can sprint, it's less relevant to move faster to avoid things if you have to. If you're running like some kind of glass cannon build or something. So outside of that, it's solid. Raising it above 100, I believe, continues to improve your speed. It says in the wiki that it also lengthens your jumps, but I think that's just a function of moving faster. I don't think it makes you jump higher. If it does, definitely drop a comment, but I haven't noticed it doing that. All right, next we have endurance. So the way endurance used to work is if you had high endurance and you leveled up, you'd start to get more stats, like more health, as you leveled up. So maxing out endurance used to matter, but now it's retroactive. So essentially, as long as you leveled up, you will eventually have good health. I think endurance is high B tier. I think is it strong? I haven't noticed it being too valuable. Like max health is good, but if you have armor cap, that's better. So usually achieved through magic or through just like training your armor. But even on like a heavy armor build, you still want alteration to hit armor cap in early game because that's really where that build struggles. So the extra health doesn't matter as much as having mana pool, but it still is good for that. It's still good for having max health. What else does it do? Oh yeah, the regen rate now. So there's now out of combat regeneration. So when you regenerate, or when you're out of combat, you will regenerate HP. And the higher your endurance, the faster it'll regenerate, but it's only out of combat. And usually when you want to regenerate health, you want to regen in combat or heal in combat. So regenerating out of combat doesn't really matter because you can also just wait, and waiting heals you. So if you're out of combat, you can probably get some distance between enemies and you and then heal through that way. But it's nice that it heals you out of combat now and does something. Personality, definitely the worst stat. It's all about the disposition of NPCs relative to you. It doesn't really help you. It's not really useful. It doesn't help you in combat. It doesn't give you anything that helps you beat Master Mode or do anything interesting or useful. The other thing about it that's a problem is illusion magic completely underdoes it. Like it completely undermines it. So if I cast Charm on someone, if I charm someone 100 points, that's the equivalent of maxing out their disposition, and I only have to do that for 1 second and then talk to them, and now they love me. So it just literally is it's completely useless stat that doesn't do anything that helps you, and it's actually a waste to invest in. It doesn't really. It'd be interesting if it gave you like unique quest rewards that were overpowered or something that you can only get, or maybe you can get more money all the time. But even then, like it's so easy to make money in the game and to get rare artifacts that it just wouldn't, even under that situation, it wouldn't do anything. Next we have luck. So luck is an interesting one because essentially what it does is if you're at 50 luck, it does nothing. At above 50 luck, it starts to do things. So for every 10 points of luck, all of your skills except for, I think, athletics, acrobatics, and maybe speechcraft are +4. So at 10 points of luck above 50 gets you +4, but it's hidden. So then you're like +4 blade, +4 block, and so on. Some people swear by this and really value it. I think for early to middle game, that's the only situation where it would matter, because once you hit end game, all of your skills are at 100, so then it doesn't do anything. It can only boost things up to 100. I'm not sure if it hits perks. I don't know that it does or doesn't. It might. From what I understand, if you hit like certain perks don't function unless you actually have the level. So for armor, if I fortify armor to 100 and then I go to repair something, it will give me the Unbreakable Hammer Master perk, but it will not get me the 125 durability expert perk for some reason. So it's kind of finicky as to how that works. I'm not even sure that luck considers you to be at 100 in that case. Maybe you get the effects of other things, like, you know, if Blade were to be ramped to 100 from 50 through luck somehow hidden, I'm sure you'd notice the damage, right? But I don't think it's good at all. Honestly, I understand the arguments as to why people think it's good. The main arguments being you can use it to raise your skills. I think Fortify skill is just so much better. You can get that from a stone south of the Imperial City at nighttime. I think it's like the Tower Stone. It's near where Umbra is. You just grab that, gets custom spell making from doing the Mages Guild, which takes you like 1 to 2 hours. It's not really that hard to do either. Then once you get custom spell making, you can just manually cast a restoration spell to like boost your blade from like 50 to 100. And then, you know, that's just better because getting luck up is actually kind of tricky. The reason for this is when you level up, you have 12 virtues to spend. And in order to improve luck, you have to spend 4. And I think you can only improve it once per level up. The game has always treated luck like it's the best stat in the game, but it doesn't know that it's one of the worst. It literally does nothing when a skill is at 100. And also it can't ramp skills above 100, and ramping most skills above 100 does literally nothing. So unfortunately, for end game it's not there, for middle game it's not there, and for early game, if you know what you're doing, it's definitely not going to be relevant. There's always Fortify skill. You can cast a Fortify skill for cheap. You can power level Restoration, which takes like 5 minutes. It's way too easy to power level like magic and stuff like this. So maybe if you leveled extremely slow. But the other thing too is it's really difficult to even raise your luck. So like let's say we invested in luck every single level up and dumped, you know, a point in for the first 10 level ups. So it takes us 10 level ups to hit. So we're level 10, or actually level 11 technically, because we start out at level 1, right? So I think that's the case. Yeah, because it would be leveling up from 1 to 2. That would be the first level up. So it would be level 11. So at level 11, we have 10 plus 10 luck, which gives us plus 4 to all our skills, except for athletics, acrobatics, and speechcraft. I don't know why they limited those. Like, why? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, who cares? Just let people jump slightly higher. Like, why is that like a limitation? But either way, plus 4. So let's say I'm like 50 blade, and I go from 50 blade to hidden 54 blade. That's so negligible. That's maybe a point of damage on a sword, maybe. I'm better off just running like at level 11. That's like middle game. I could easily run Fortify Blade 50 or Fortify Blade 25. That's way more valuable. I would rather have things that actually help my build out and give me something instead of things that just interact with boosting skills. If it did more, like if luck, let's say luck had like crits or something, then we'd be talking. Like let's say if your luck is at 50, you have like 2% crit rate, and crit rate is for physical weapons only, and you have like it'll, you know, 2% chance that as you're attacking to deal triple damage randomly. Then, you know, and then maybe if we go from 50 to 100 luck, for every 10 points of luck, you get an extra crit. So then we could go to 7% crit, you know, whatever, at 100 luck. That would at least be something tangible, but I feel like it's just too abstract and just not valuable, and it's too difficult to raise. Now you can fortify luck. Some people do like fortify luck 1 second and then do like spell making and shit like this. That can be fine, but fortify luck, probably more expensive to do than just fortify blade or fortify whatever it is you're trying to fortify, like fortify destruction or something. So unless that's not the case, you can drop a comment, but I think it is. But you could do fortify luck for specific things just out of convenience, but I don't think it's going to be like an optimal strategy or something that should be like a go-to tactic. It's just difficult to level. The only real ways to get your luck up high are to run like Thief Birth Sign, which gets you at 60 base luck immediately. So then all of your starting skills are plus 4 out of the gate. And then if you were to power level luck every single level, you have to consider you're throwing out 4 attribute points or 4 virtues per level, which could be leveling up. Like you could be maxing out skills that immediately give you a benefit, like more health, move faster, fatigue regen, more magicka. more fatigue and more magicka regen, more carry weight. Like these are just better than this for sure. You could present the argument that skills are better than attributes. Depends on what you need and when you need it. But there's better ways. Like skills can raise themselves through restoration without the need of luck. But I think luck is, I've never found it useful. I still don't. I don't use it. I don't leverage it. I don't think it's valuable. But this is where I think things are at. If you agree or disagree, definitely drop a comment as to why. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.